I recently sat down to enjoy a nice warm cup of coffee and thought to myself, Self, you've enjoyed a lot of time in Mount & Blade Bannerlord. There must be some things that you've learned in all that time. So, here we are today to finally answer that question. Now, Bannerlord is a giant sandbox set on a medieval continent where you play as a noble that can recruit armies, fight wars, siege castles, and conquer kingdoms in a memorable and truly unique way. Being a sandbox, which there will be a video about that later, there are so many different ways to play. So when I was sitting there with my coffee, and I said to myself, I want to make a video about how to play Bannerlord, but there is no one right way to play. Well, that must be when the coffee kicked in, because I realized that rather than a guide on how to play Bannerlord, I should simply share my favorite tips for having a good game. Let's get started. Bring your troop count to 20. In the beginning of the game, every bad guy on the continent is going to come after you because, well, you're easy prey. You start the game with 1,000 gold, and I recommend using that to quickly recruit some troops. I found the sweet spot to be around 20, where you can still move around the map, and the upkeep doesn't cost an unreasonable amount. Having an army of this size will just prevent bandits from seeking you out, and this makes traveling the map so much easier, while still giving you the freedom to hunt for bandits, or maybe look at doing something even a little bit more difficult, like raiding villages. Yeah, let's raid villages. Level up your troops. When I first started with the game, I took all the recruits I could find and then went on to get into major battles, and I almost always lost. This is because leveled up troops provide a major advantage over the earlier ones. Higher tier troops have better equipment, skills, and morale. Not only will they stay and fight longer, they are much more likely to deal out some major damage in the meantime. So, make sure you spend a little while farming bandits, and then farm the minor clans before advancing further on into the game. Take your time and enjoy this stage. Your power bar and your troops will thank you. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. N for Encyclopedia. As you progress through the game, you're going to need to find different people, rulers, towns, and the list goes on. When I first started, I didn't know where or how to find this information, and there really isn't any guidance on how to find it. But by pressing the N key, we pull up the user encyclopedia. You can use it to look at lesser clans, you can look at kingdoms and their clans, find a particular noble, track a particular town, and find out a lot of detailed information on almost anything. If you take anything from this video, please check out the encyclopedia. All you have to do is press N. That's it. Go check it out. Learn and use formations. I want to talk about formations for a minute. When I first started out, I just didn't know that F6 delegated command, so I had the extra pressure of leading my troops. In fact, I didn't figure this out until embarrassingly late in the game, so I had to learn the formations early. Now, real talk for a minute, F6 is a legitimate approach to playing the game, and it works for a while. Commanding your troops, though, not only presents a way to play that is simply more fulfilling, as the actual commander of the army, but also learning when and how to use formations will help you win unwinnable battles. With infantry, use a lot of shield walls when there are lots of archers, or square or circle formations when there's a lot of cavalry. Archers, they should almost always be in loose formation, except in a really few niche and nuanced examples. And horse archers, well, have them follow you and use them to harass the enemy cavalry. Learning how and when to use different formations and hotkeys really leveled up my gameplay. Level non-combat skills. Non-combat skills are very useful for most of the game. While some provide a huge benefit very early on, some require you to wait until further into the game and provide a huge benefit. And while they may not help directly on the battlefield, many of them do create an environment where you will be more likely to succeed. Here's some examples. Smithing and trade. Money is very important in the game, and smithing and trade will help fund those expeditions you'll undertake. Plus, at level 125 trade, the perk Artisan Community is S tier for leveling up the clan. Steward is very important to help increase the maximum size of your party by up to 75 people, and is very easy to level just by bringing a variety of food along with you on your journey. Charm will help you recruit lords, gain influence and renown, and increase the stability of the fiefs under your control. Scouting has some fantastic perks, but is very hard to level. So if you're going to level it, start early and consider using some of the character creation points to skip the early levels. And finally, leadership, which you can really only level reliably by raising an army of multiple parties, which you can really only do towards the end of the game. That being said, this is one of the best skills as you progress towards the end of the game. Now for the honorable mention. I wasn't sure if it should make it into the video or not because, well, it's not really a tip, but when I first started playing this, I noticed a wonderful open world sandbox where really almost any medieval lifestyle was possible. It was a beautiful game with truly deep mechanics and a lot of replayability, though I didn't really feel like the game world was alive. So my bonus tip is to play with birth and death mode enabled, even if you reduce the chance of your companions dying to 0%. It still adds so much to the experience. It just makes everything feel more impactful, from allowing the rulers of rival countries to die to having a family and developing your own lineage. Using this mechanic just brought so much extra life into the atmosphere of Bannerlord. I really can't say enough good things about it. This is a brilliantly done game, with so much depth and replayability. If you haven't checked it out, I strongly recommend you do so. And if it's simply been a while since you've hopped in, give it a go. Keep these tips in mind and you'll do great. And if you appreciate the content, please give the video a like. You'll make my day. And if you'd like to see more from me, check the videos on screen now. Thanks for watching.